far worse things waiting, man, than death.
You will be scared shitless.
This is S. Michael, and with me, as always, is
Erin Dawn.
Slinky Giallo.
And we are the Scared Shitless Podcast, coming up on episode 8 or 9, maybe 10. I think it might
I think
be
so,
episode 10.
yeah.
Wow. So, yay. Moving right along with what will be our first and hopefully not last movie that came out after the early odds. 2014 with Creep. Which has actually exploded in popularity in the past 10 years since the creator slash actor Mr. Duplass of the Duplass brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Has recently come out with the Creep tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, very popular on Amazon Prime. I think the original movies are still available on Netflix. That was the first time I watched them, was on Netflix back in 2014. I actually didn't watch the second one till last week. And I think I liked it a little bit better. To be honest, I think they upped the stakes a little bit in that one.
I dig the second one. Her and I talked about that today. I told you why I dig the second one. Remember? I was like, oh yeah, the second one's pretty cool because it gives them fucking battle.
Well, I feel like the second one definitely I feel like she put up more of a fight, I guess, than Erin did, but we'll get to that later.
So yeah, this was not my virgin viewing, but the second time I've seen it was last week, and watched it with my girlfriend, and we both really enjoyed it. We laughed a lot, cringed a lot, and what a whopper of an ending. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't remember enjoying it as much the first time I saw it. The first time I saw it, mid 2010s, I was busy with life and kind of tired, and it was just kind of a comfort watch, Netflix and chill, not in that way, but just I would relax after work, and I would often fall asleep during the movie. So I didn't really drink it in as much as I did this time, but I do remember enjoying it. And having it stand out as one of the better examples of modern found footage horror filmmaking. So what was you guys' virgin viewing?
Let's see. My virgin viewing of it was I had seen it at a slumber party. Like there was not more than one girl, but there was just me and this chick whose name escapes me. And
dashing my fantasy right now. You're just completely dashing.
Right. Poor Slinky's over there picturing pillow fights and shit.
Right.
Yeah, total. Yeah.
You're thinking like we're running around in Maribel heels and smacking each other with pillows.
Cover of that movie.
Absolutely. No. I'd gone over to this girl's house. We got some food, and it was one of those, like, we had watched one movie, and this was the second movie we decided to watch before we fell asleep. And I remembered really liking it, but then for some reason I couldn't remember where I saw it. So like I would ask people like, did we watch this movie together? And they'd be like, no, and I'd be like, who did I watch with? Like couldn't remember much about it either until he and I watched it. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. And then it was like a whole watching it with him like was a totally different experience like than watching it at like 12 a.m. where you're just passing on someone's beanbag chair.
Right.
With
that's how you want to live your life.
That's how I wish to live my life at the time. But with Slink, like it was just a totally different movie, and I absolutely love it. I love the Duplass brothers. I love Mark Duplass. My introduction to him was through an HBO show called Togetherness, which I highly recommend to the audience if you've never seen it. It's very well written, good romantic drama comedy TV series that only ran for 2 seasons, and so I knew him as this sort of like nice, affable guy, right? And then seeing this movie, it was like, oh, he's very good. he's very good. Like this, he kind of take that like nice guy thing and parlayed it into just being a total sociopath, and I loved
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
here's
He's
Slink.
top notch.
He's really fun to watch. Like he's very, I get it. I get it. He's charismatic. I saw this with you. I had heard about it and heard great things about it. And then when you and I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. It's a fun movie. It's creepy to watch what someone will be willing to put up with for money. It's very interesting for that. Her and I have been talking about that for like 2 days. But yeah, saw it and with her, enjoyed it. Her and I kind of binged the whole creep thing when we watched it. We watched this, we watched part 2 like the next night. And then we watched the creep tapes. And then she told me you watched the creep tapes.
And yeah. Like, so Christine and I watched the first one, the second one, and the first episode of creep tapes. Yeah.
So yeah, so this world that these guys have built is really cool. It's a lot of fun. Got a lot of questions, but it's great. I really enjoyed it. And like you said, I consider it one of the really good entries of found footage. Like you said, modern found footage. There's a handful that are really, you owe it to yourself to watch. And this one's definitely one of them. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So do you want to do the timeline? Do you want me to do the timeline? How do you want to do it?
Yeah, I guess we can kind of share that burden a little bit. I've got my notes pulled up as well. So yeah, fantastic. So yeah, go right ahead. We start, of course, with the director, right?
Erin. Yes.
Patrick Bryce is the actor / director,
and he has accepted a job to be paid $1,000 to record a message from this this guy basically like hired him to come to his cabin in the woods and record for 8 hours, and that's it. And that's what he's been told so far.
Yep. So we get that little bit of exposition as he's driving to the cabin, get introduced to the character. He seems friendly enough, good looking guy, kind of young, little green around the gills, sort of a plain Jane, whatever the male equivalent of that is. Sort of an everyman,
a plain Paul, if you will. Yeah.
But yeah,
an average Erin.
Perfect. Yes. And then he gets there and goes up to the door to greet himself, camera rolling, of course, which is great, because a lot of these found footage movies, it's like, why the hell's the camera even on, but they get around that very nicely in this one.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And they don't have to hire musicians to do the soundtrack.
No, I kind of dug one of the reasons I really like this was because it is shot in a very documentary style. There isn't any music until the very, very end. And it's very unnerving. That is very unnerving because it's just nature and these two dudes, right?
So we see the front of the cabin. We see him kind of peek over the edge of the porch railing, and there is an axe buried in a stump.
Foreshadowing.
Love the axe. Yeah, no doubt. Love the axe on the wall, by the way, for emphasis in you guys' background.
For our Madman Mars fans.
Yes, we love our axe. That's true.
So yeah, that's going to become important later on, but for now it's just a bit of eeriness. And yeah, so he goes back to the car. He's about to give up and tries again. And behold, Joseph.
Joseph jumps up. And I mean, the amount of jump scares that he gives this poor kid I love the fact that it keeps him and the audience constantly on anxiety pins and needles, right? Because you're like, what is this guy gonna do next? And yeah, but it's like he'll do something dicky. He's like a Sour Patch Kid in the commercial, right? Where the Sour Patch Kid does something like really heinous, and then the Sour Patch Kid is just like, but I love you, and then gives him a hug or flowers or whatever. And that is Joseph. That is Mark Duplass's character, is that he's very does shit like that.
That's scary to me because
Yes.
He is pushing the envelope. He's testing boundaries.
Yeah, testing boundaries. And he's like a nice guy on a date, right? Like he's not, or he's what we would call sort of the bad, like, nice guy, right? Non-threat, because he's just like, oh, it's gonna be a good day. You have a kind face, he's pouring on the charm, and he hugs him twice. Yeah, he hugs him the first time, and he's like, because later on, then it won't be weird, right?
It's gonna be weird. That's what I mean. I got questioned. Like,
what are you buttering me up for?
What are you prepping me for, man? I know.
Yeah, I mean, they lay on the creepiness factor right away. It's awesome that you have this obviously up to no good, super charming guy, and he's all touchy feely and inappropriately intimate, and
he's
yeah,
wearing tight bicycle pants.
Right.
Like, and here's the thing about Mark Duplass, which I both admire, and also is 18 different shades of creepy. Whatever movie I have seen him in, he has zero problem going full frontal. He really is proud of what God gave him, and he, like, doesn't matter what episode, what fucking show it is, he's just like, look at my penis. So I give him credit for that, because, like, good for you, buddy. But he just drops like, he just decides, he's like, I'm just gonna take my pants off and put on the tub, and it completely disarms the director, because he's just like, what are you in the tub? Yeah. What you're gonna get in
so
the tub?
first he tells him what he's there for, right? I mean, he gives this bullshit story about how he's got a brain tumor the size of a baseball in his head, and it's like, wait a second. No, you don't. We would see some evidence of that, like, you would not be walking around all chipper, with a brain tumor the size of a baseball in your head. No. So that was the first huge red flag for me. I'm like, what? No. So, but yeah, explains that he wants everything recorded for posterity. And of course, the director's on board because he's getting $1,000 out of it. So, he can put up with all this weirdness. And yes, so as you said, it continues immediately into the bathroom, no introductory, transitionary period, just straight to the bathroom.
Just right in the tub. And
no, you were saying.
Well, the whole time we're watching the movie, he's telling Erin, these things. He's like, oh, I have cancer, and oh, I found a bush outside with a bug in it. And it's like, I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, I don't care. I'm here to record you doing stupid shit. Stop telling me about your personal life. So her and I are going back and forth, and I'm like, I'm constantly distancing myself from this person. And unlike Erin is.
Exactly. And, like, whereas I am a perfect serial killer victim,
up in a van.
I'm absolutely the person who would end up in a van. I'm 100% the person who would be like, oh my God.
And I think that's why this movie or this franchise really lends itself to continuous series, because you have various types of victims, so from this first film to the second, you have a huge difference in personalities between the victims.
Yeah. So, but no. Yeah.
Well, no, like, Tubby. Yeah, Tubby. Okay, so
Tubby time.
So he goes, yeah, he's like, growing up, like, taking a tubby with my dad was like the best time ever. And I look at Slink and I'm like, did you take a tubby with your dad? Because I didn't take a fucking tubby with my dad.
No.
Like, no, nobody's remember. Yeah.
So they were like, we gotta ask Sims if he took a tubby with his dad.
I would be old enough to remember. I've actually seen old grainy photos, but from when I was an infant or whatever. But no.
Oh, and that's not a thing. And
it's one of my favorite Ren and Stimpy episodes. Mr. Dad is like, oh yeah, they're in the bathtub with their mom and grandpa. It's like, you just don't do that shit.
And so you get the idea that Erin really, if Erin has boundaries, he doesn't know what they are yet, right? Like, this person is testing him every single second. He's testing his ability to manipulate him. He's testing his ability to
think. Like, he's testing him. He's always every 30 seconds he's doing something. He's either jumping
out at you. giving you a story
Story.
or trying to elicit sympathy. Like very, narcissistic personality disorder, right?
Oversharing,
Yeah, definitely. Yes, definitely oversharing and consistently just keeping him on edge. And I think it's like, at what point do you decide, okay, I'm tired of being nice. No job is worth this. This is creeping me out. Something fierce.
And we'll get to that point, and actually sooner than I thought in the film. But then there's a lame excuse to stick around. But first we have to meet Peach Fuzz.
Yes, Peach Fuzz, the weird Peach Fuzz.
Yeah, and just honestly, I thought it was hokey. Watching it again, the first time I actually was creeped out by the mask. It very much resembles like the Gamork from the Neverending Story.
Yep. It looks like a mask that you could have easily obtained in Spencer's back in the day.
Is that what the Gamor is? The nothing?
No, it's the wolf creature in the Neverending Story. He's got the
with the eyes.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
It reminded me of that, but Slink's right. I mean, it's not a quality mask at all.
No.
I could sympathize with the guy though opening a closet and finding it staring right at him.
Holy shit! Yeah, because you're like, what is that? A wolf's head? Is that a mask? Like, what in the and
taxidermy situation here?
Yeah, the movie consistently keeps you just on your toes.
So then I watched it again today, and I felt a little differently about it. So the very first time I watched it, I was a little creeped out by the mask. Understood the jump scare. But then the second time I watched it, I thought it was hokey. The little song and dance number that he does. That he clearly makes up on the spot. He's like, oh, he has a song. No, he doesn't. You just made that up.
Yeah.
And then as he's doing it, what I put together watching it again today was that this is kind of a crystallization, an encapsulation of who this character is. He is getting off on making you uncomfortable as he draws you in. So he's simultaneously pushing boundaries and knowing what he's going to do in the end and just enjoying himself on the way. So in that sense, I was extra creeped out watching it, for the third time, just knowing what was coming, realizing how fucked up this guy is. So
yeah, he's gleefully manipulating this kid, and he's just savoring what he's doing. But then her and I kept saying, well, yeah, we'll get to it. It's like, just what are you? Yeah.
Well, where's your point?
What are you?
Right? How broke is he? How broke are you? And how nice, accepting, and non-judgmental are you? And it's important to point out that like Erin is a very kind of soft-spoken, if he was a vegan, I wouldn't be surprised. California boy. He's a California boy, and so he does have a tendency to be very like understanding of things, especially when Erin would just like do something really shitty and then turn on a dime and be like, oh my God, I didn't mean to scare you. I thought we were friends, and you're so special. I took it too far.
He is actually the perfect first victim, and it's implied later, actually during this film, that Erin is in fact his first victim. That he's premeditated what he plans on doing over time, and that he says, I'll always remember you. You'll always be my favorite. And he really is the perfect victim because, like you said, he's so accommodating, just not wanting to offend or ruffle feathers or be the bad guy and say no, and that makes it extra tragic as well. It adds a layer of fear because, it's always the innocent. And, again, usually it's women in these horror films, that are the victims because they are the caregivers, they're the innocent ones, the loving ones, the trusting ones, and it just makes it that much more creepy and awful. So,
and with every question that he asks Erin, he's building a manipulation. You know what I mean? Like he asks him, they go out into the woods.
Yes,
he says, oh, is there anybody you'd like to make peace with?
I said to you, why is he asking him that? I said, see,
Were you scared when you first saw the axe? What did you think?
That's what I was just going to say. That's the best.
Yeah.
honestly my favorite line in the film, because you know what's going to happen after you've seen it once. Watching it again, it's extra creepy, um, because he is doing that thing that I've seen only in a very few horror films, but in lots of horror stories, where you could have fucking gotten out of this situation if you'd have used your fucking brain. And
to every avenue to take the
yes, and the killer pretty much gave you every red flag and clue that you needed. So it's like hell is a door open from within, from the inside,
Yeah. And so we don't really know, we don't really know Aaron's background other than he's been paid to make this movie for him. So we don't really know if Aaron is a student. We don't know if Aaron is.
Yeah, no, the closest we get is that he's in a cheap apartment and he's willing to put up with a bunch of shit for $1,000, So.
Right. I mean, there's that, but then there's also this idea of like, well, what if he's a psych student? Like, what if he's trying to understand psychologically this person? And what if he feels like, I have to understand, like I have to be understanding in this situation.
Yeah, and
like,
I
don't
think
want to be a dick.
To the director's credit, that's something that I think, he probably received some criticism for that with this film, and expanded on that in the second film, where you get a whole lot more of the victim's backstory and motivation.
Yeah. Which
in this one, not so
woman.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a woman in the second one, and I feel like the second one, I feel like she is a she's a formidable enemy for him, like or what? What's the
foil?
That's not the word, foil, I guess. She's like a matched nemesis. She's like the Nancy to the Freddy at that point. Whereas
Aaron is just Mr. Victim.
Just a victim. Yeah, he really is just a victim. But the way that the movie unfolds, it reminds me of a woman being on an uncomfortable date that she doesn't know how to end.
Yeah, well, the restaurant scene is a perfect encapsulation of that.
There we go. Hit us, Sims.
They start talking, about intimacy and shame, just getting in his head, and being way too transparent with a stranger, and asking way too personal questions for somebody that you don't know. And I think we've probably all as adults been in that situation, maybe we've been the person who was doing the oversharing, that tends to be me actually. But no, I wouldn't kill nobody. But I would overshare. Yeah, I'd overshare you to death. So very creepy, very uncomfortable. They keep turning the dial up little by little, till they get to 11. So, it made me think of Rob Reiner.
I think that's why it's interesting, and I feel like it's a rewatch, is because it has that rewatchable quality, because you notice different things each time. You notice different ways in which he is just trying to move the dial. Each time I watch this, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Like I didn't even really internalize that before, but now I'm wondering, so yeah. But the scene in the restaurant where he reveals that when Aaron showed up, he was basically just
turning the dial up to about 6 or 7.
He was just taking pictures of him from afar. That would have been the moment where I'd be like, check, please. Like, I'm fucking done with these pancakes.
There's a lot of moments where, he has more than opportune time to take advantage of his.
Well, and to Mr. Victim's credit, he does try to leave.
Yes,
that was kind of the the straw that broke the camel's back for about 30 seconds.
He does, and he tries to leave, and I think there's this he's like, hey, it's dark, it's gonna take a while to get down that mountain. And Joseph, pulls up the like, well, I was gonna pour you a whiskey. Like, I don't think we're done yet. Like, I think we need to celebrate this wonderful day that we had. And it's like, well, how do you say no to that? Like, as a woman, no, right. Slink
I was going to bring it back around to the bad date experience. If you're having a bad date, introduce alcohol.
Slink is very much of the I would just punch that motherfucker in the face. Very
like I would have knocked him out.
Very Jersey. Whereas I, as a woman in that situation, like, it's, and then he even says it. He says something that you have heard on a date, which is, just one drink. Just one drink, and I'll let you go. One drink, and I'll let you go.
I'll let you go. Because, no.
which is creepy.
Yeah.
No, I'm with Slink. No, you're gonna let me go now. Fuck your drink. I'll trek through the snow to the next town.
and I'm gonna walk out that fucking door,
Yeah.
man, and you're gonna watch me, bro. That's what you're gonna do. Like that's yeah. But I
No,
get
I say
the
that, and then
female
it's been too long
perspective,
since I've been that desperate where I needed $1,000 that badly. So
Well, exactly. And all of us would like to say, oh, well, in this situation, I would do this, right? Or in this situation, I would do that. But
we don't know his situation.
But we don't know his situation.
We're like, wow, he must really need that $1,000,
right?
Man. Like,
or something.
Is he gonna be on the street? Is he gonna, they're gonna
right?
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's.
And I mean, I've thought about, like I have been, Slink and I both are ex-drug addicts, and we have been desperate for money to the point that we would, pawn stuff or do stuff that maybe we wouldn't normally do for money. And so, the prospect or the concept of, it's $1,000 just to videotape some guy in the woods for 8 hours was having a midlife crisis, clearly. And all I got to do is just, maybe do some reverse psychology on him and be patient, and then we can get our $1,000 and get the fuck out.
See,
we don't know.
Right.
Is Erin could be a fucking Percocet addict.
No, that's the thing. Plus, we're in our 40s. Erin is clearly 20.
Yeah.
20.
This character.
right, and that makes a huge difference with life
Yes, a huge
experience and lack of wisdom.
No life
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and I would say that in my early 20s, I probably would have been more like the second victim, where I'm like just fascinated and into the anthropological curiosity of it all, and I'll even contribute to make the story neater,
Right. And so he asks him, he says, well, what made you decide to come do this? And are you having money problems, Erin? And at this point, he actually he makes it a point to call him by his name consistently, as if to try to build this false sense of trust with him. Like, Erin, are you, it's okay.
And that's psychology
Erin.
101, and that's what the cops do. They buddy up to you, and
build a rapport.
use your name.
Build a rapport. Yeah. And then Sims, we get one of the most uncomfortable moments in this movie, but also I laughed at a lot of the movie. Kind of tests your well, how dark is your sense of humor?
Yeah.
And my sense of humor is as dark as the inside of a coffin at midnight.
Amen, sister. I was right there with
the
you.
Gallowest of humors.
Yes. So this story,
The grape
both
scenario,
horrified and made me laugh.
Yeah, the Peach Fuzz's true origin. The origins, the story of Peach Fuzz. Yeah.
Oh
so
my god!
it turns out, right, that he actually purchased Peach Fuzz from a discount store. Yeah, he finds bestiality
I
porn
wasn't looking at
on his girlfriend's browsing history, and decides to take that opportunity. Instead of shaming her, he's going to use Peach Fuzz to give her the time of her life by sneaking in the window at night wearing the Peach Fuzz mask. So he's gone full furry,
tying her up and then having ravenous, ferocious, animalistic sex with her, or as he, and she really enjoyed it and had a great time. And
so
it's like,
finally, Erin, Mr. Victim, has had enough, right? He is, for at least 5 minutes, going to become the hero of the story and get the fuck out of Dodge.
God damn, man.
So yes, Benadryl.
We were rooting for Erin at this point because he manages to give him a Benadryl cocktail. He gets his cell phone out of his pocket, and thankfully the cell phone rings. And
this is interesting. This part's interesting.
And he hides. Yeah, a little flip phone. Hides in the bathroom. Takes the call. And it's a woman. He goes, is this Angela? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, oh, I'm here with your husband, and I'm videotaping him for his son, and we're at your cabin. And she's just like, wait, what? And then she's like, my brother is not very well. And then he realizes, like, he doesn't have cancer, and there is no cabin. And
she explicitly tells him to leave.
She
tells
just
him,
do whatever you got to do.
Erin, just leave. Just walk out the door. And he's just like, well, what, you know, and it's like, dude, we do not need a postmortem on this now. You need to get the fuck out.
A woman who you're not aware of who she is did not verify anything you said on the phone. And at the end of your conversation, she's telling you to leave. Just leave, my guy. Just leave. Yeah. Need that 1,000.
And so we do get a little bit of backstory of our killer, of Joseph, that he has a sister who says that he's fucked up in the head and you need to leave. But that's about it, you know, and I like that. I do like that, you know, there's some mystery involved. You're not, still to this day, not exactly sure what this guy's full backstory is. So.
Oh, and then when he gets outside, like, you know, Duplass really shows off his acting skills with this, because then he's just this like really uncomfortable guy, and he's like, I'm gonna try and trying to like have a conversation with this raisin cake. And they then he puts on the peach fuzz mask and starts kind of like dry humping the sky. And he's like, you win, I'm terrified. And then finally manages to fucking run off.
Which should be the end of the movie, right? You would think.
It really should have been the end of the movie. Yeah. You've been watching Creep. We're done. And then gets back to his apartment in LA and basically says, you know, I ran off. I had my car towed. I found this stupid DVD when I got home, which was basically just Joseph like digging holes and dragging bags that, you know, imply that there are bodies in them, you know, or body parts at least. And then Joseph sends him a box, and this idiot opens it. At this point, I you know, Erin bummed me out, man.
Now I'm rooting for Joseph.
Right.
You know? I like how it's in true found footage fashion. Say that 3 times fast. How the DVD shows up and then the box shows up. Like those, to me, those are always big things from found footage.
Yeah. There's like, there's a locket with their pictures that plays music. It's engraved, you know. You made it myself. And he's like, look at this little wolf. Like, you're my little wolf. And it's
kill things they love, Erin.
Right. Wolves are, you know.
Right. He's not just dialing up the creepiness, he's dialing up the cringe at the same time.
Crazy. Yeah. Now we're like, hey, we're
personal boundaries be damned now. Yeah. Now I'm coming to.
He's gone full bitch cakes at this point, and he is stalking him. He is standing outside of his window.
Yes,
at
great
one point,
scare. Yeah.
He's filming him while he sleeps. Yeah.
Yeah, the home invasion stuff was very creepy. Reminded me of just the camera work and everything, reminded me of Paranormal Activity. Just some nice liminal spacing.
And move, you'll see something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then we get the invite, right? Meet me in daylight.
Right. Meet me at Lake Gregory at 11 a.m. and you'll be able to see the real me.
It's a public park. It's a public
park. It's totally fine. And yeah, this is, like I said, Erin really bummed me out, man, because he shows up and he says, well,
he takes precautions, right? I mean, you know, at least
I'm videotaping. Right. I've got 911 on speed dial. And,
yeah.
You know, but then he sits down on the bench and he faces towards the lake. And what's interesting is Slink pointed out that there are houses every
lake. They're all around the lake. All right. It does. No, I don't even know what to say because there's just houses everywhere. So like, just what a gamble on, are they summer homes? Are they seasonal? I mean, I'm just going to assume there's people in all those houses.
Yeah, and why did Joseph pick this area precisely?
I don't. Unless
it's hard telling, but you know, if given what I know about serial killers, you know, it's a little bit of Ted Bundy vibe there. If there's a risk,
absolutely
involved.
Just the balls on this guy
doing it in a public place, but then also his own sort of twisted sense of creating an event. You know, like this guy's gonna go out next to a placid lake, you know, surrounded by beautiful houses, you know, and
that's interesting. That's an interesting thing. He sets a really beautiful scene, you know. And I also like the fact that somebody is doing tree trimming nearby. So of course that drowns out a lot of it, but there's this almost feeling of like, is he gonna come at him with a chainsaw? Like that really, the fourth time I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So he's probably timed it though.
Yeah, excuse me. As a horror fan, I can't hear a chainsaw and not think the worst instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually one of my favorite parts of reading Gerald's Game by Stephen King, which I never thought they'd be able to make into a movie. And they finally did a Netflix version, which was pretty good. Was that as she's handcuffed to the bed in her underwear, you hear a chainsaw off in the distance, So it's like,
Ooh.
oh, yes, go Stephen King,
Yeah.
because of course horror fans are reading this, and it's like you always think the worst when you hear a freaking chainsaw, because of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So yeah,
Yeah.
I had that fleeting thought as well.
It was, and then pulls out an axe and you hear this just like soft thud, and there's not like a blood spray or anything. It's just very much just like done, that's it.
Eventful,
Yeah.
burnt.
And then just slumps.
Well, I love how he sneaks up on him, like a cringe ninja, a crinja.
Cartoon character. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
yeah.
And takes his sweet ass time, for the audience.
Pulls the axe out like very cartoony, like whips his coat around, like Murr! Like
he does do a very
really
yes, like a cartoon villain, very much. I think Joseph is one of those characters, and especially just like in part one and part two, but he's just very fun to watch in his process, and you never really know if he's telling the truth, so you never know if he's just giving little bits of the truth, like how Ted Bundy would give his name is always Ted, right? Like he would lie about his profession, he would lie about whether he was injured or not, he would lie about where he was from, but he always said Ted. So that was his thing. That was his, whatever his calling card, or you want to call it, would be. And Joseph just gives like little bits of information, and you're like, well, what is he? Is he sociopathic? Is he narcissistic personality disorder? Is did he not get enough love as a kid?
Yeah, I think he was probably a drama kid, like a theater nerd,
Theater nerd.
Yeah, he comes across that way to me because he's so theatrical, and just acting. He's an actor's actor, and he really is. Like the actor himself is a hell of an actor, but then he puts on this bad acting, persona. And it really comes across like a theater kid.
Yeah, no, you do. And one of the things that they said, because I watched a behind the scenes interview between Patrick Brice and Mark Duplass, where they were talking, and Mark Duplass says, he's like, I suffer from student council president syndrome, where I walk into a room and I can morph into whatever person wants me to be. And he says, and that though is endearing in some ways, he goes, has the the ability to become sociopathic. And that's where he got that's where they started like thinking about like, well, what if, because the movie originally was was supposed to be like a comedy, and then people viewed it and they were like, no, you really need to lean into the horror element of this and the suspense element of this. And they didn't really want to, but then they kind of figured, they were like, okay, this is exactly what we need to do. And thus a really good franchise was born.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure you've heard it said that, horror and comedy are best friends, the timing, the jump scares go along with, your double takes, the cringe factor. There's so many elements that both genres use, and there's still a lot of comedy in this film.
Oh yeah, I laugh a lot in this movie. I really wish there's a lot of stuff where it was like, oh, that's inappropriate. But I still laugh at it.
I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, though.
Yeah. So laughter is that is a biological response to discomfort.
So we should talk about the ending, or the kind of after ending.
After ending,
where Erin is now his favorite victim. And so I kind of misspoke earlier, but there's a reason why, because he lays it on as if Erin is his first victim. But we find out that he's actually not. He puts Erin in with the 30 some odd other victims.
Yeah. Yeah,
tapes.
which I love. I thought that was fantastic. Like my mother doesn't do horror movies really. And so I kind of told her about this movie as much as I could. And she was like, oh, that's good. That's really good. She goes, I'll never watch it ever.
Yeah.
But she's like, that's really good. She goes, I don't watch anything scary now that I live alone. But she definitely, like, her hat was off to the suspense element of it and the fact that he closes that cabinet and there's all those other videos.
Right.
It's like,
And then we get the setup for,
yeah.
the next
Yeah.
victim. Now he's Bill.
Now,
yeah, it's Bill. Yeah. It's $1,000 for 8 hours of work.
bring your camera and yourself.
We're gonna have a good time.
So yay, found footage goodness in the middle 2010s. I each time I've watched this movie, I've enjoyed it for different reasons. And it definitely brings the scares. And so we should talk about the scared shit list now.
You will be scared shitless.
The scared shit list, if you're unaware or just joining us, Johnny Come Lately, is the namesake of the show. It's the part of the show where we talk about what we found actually scary, or what may have scared us in the right environment. And for me, it has to be my second watch. I don't think I was actually frightened during my initial viewing right after it came out, although there was plenty of unease. But the fear really set in as I realized there were clues being given all throughout. And that to me was frightening. That, again, is hell is a door open from the inside. It's how much shit are you going to ignore, before you put two and two together, before you get the fuck out of Dodge. So it's a combination of things, the sister's warning, all the red flags. But the biggest scare for me is when he's like, so when you saw that axe, did you think I was going to kill you with it? That really kind of gave me goosebumps watching it the second time. So that's number one for me. And then to a lesser extent, the scene with the wolf mask. But
Trying to think. Okay. There's a lot of moments in this movie that are very uncomfortable. I think I think the one moment I feel, which was kind of like the really point of no return, and I related to it, was the just come in for one drink.
yeah,
Just one drink and I'll let you go, and just the fact that there's this also element of danger where he doesn't know if he can get back. Like, he has his car, right? But it is a deserted cabin in the woods with no other houses around, and mountain driving is very difficult to do in time, let alone at night where you don't know, the roads of California, how to get down, and also how to get down with that level of anxiety, right? Because he's already like, I'm leaving this wingnut, so he's already uncomfortable. And then, so yeah, when things, when the sun went down, right, and and then when he went up to the house and was just like, yeah, one drink, I was like, this is the point of no return, my friend.
Yeah.
Like,
he was rationalizing, well, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Not always, my friend. Not always.
No, not at all. And then, but yeah, I think the moment he took his pants off, I would have, as a filmmaker, I think I would have been like, okay, so my Uber's outside.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, nah. The whole time her and I were watching it, I kept looking at her going, I would have left. I'd have left. It was like every 30 seconds I was like, oh, I'd have left. It's when the part that scared me the most in the movie is when the phone rings and he talks to a woman who he does not know, and she makes things, to my perspective, worse than they were before he answered that phone call. And it's like, you're in danger now. Like, you're in fucking danger because this person's not telling you, hey, what's going on? Did you see the Charger game? No, they're like, fucking leave. And so it's like that right there. To me, that's when it was like, that's, to me, aside from, dick out, tubby, werewolf mask, all that stuff before, that's where it was like, okay. Yeah. It's that fucking phone call from some girl you don't know.
Yeah, and that's really where it feels most like a horror film. I think you're right, Slink. That's a great scary moment. I can't believe I didn't mention that one. Yeah, I got chills during that scene as well. But I think overall, it's just a generally scary film. in our society. I think it's poignant, to have just a young, unsuspecting person being victimized by somebody who is skilled at acting and gaslighting and love bombing and all the forms of manipulation that we're, learning about as a society now.
The love bombing. Didn't even think
Yeah,
about
just
that. But yeah,
really
the love
fucking creep. A
bombing.
perfect name for the movie. It's the guy's a creep.
Creep. He's a
I think we all know somebody or have met somebody at least online like that, where you are a
yeah.
fucking creep.
Good Lord. Yes.
Let's rate this movie. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it's an excellent example of mid 2010 found footage horror. Kind of raised the bar a little bit, elevated things, to use a much maligned term. I think the dialing it up was very masterful all throughout the film, and I thought the ending was perfect. It was, serene and artsy and creepy at the same time, and just it put a bow on the whole package.
Yeah. So I'm going to say I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 tubbies. That's what I'm gonna do. Because there's I feel like the sort of near end where he's kind of getting terrorized in the apartment, I feel like that goes on a little bit longer than maybe it needed to. I do I prefer the suspense that happens when he's at the cabin more than I prefer the like
the follow-up
standing outside the building or whatever. But then it wraps it up at the end and it's just whoa, it's like that. It's a gut punch of an ending, right? So yeah, 4.5 out of 5 tubbies.
All right, I'm gonna go a solid 4 Spencer werewolf masks.
Nice.
Straight up. It's a great flick. And I was thinking about this before. Would you say it's an hour and 17 minutes? Hour and 14 minutes. So it runs by at a clip, but it's a solid hour and 14 minutes. Other than the stuff at the house with the guy, when he's stalking the guy, Erin, it moves at a clip. Like you don't feel any of that movie. It sets everything up quickly. It gets weird really fast. It gets awkward and inappropriate even quicker. And then the end is just like, boom, we're done. And then the cabinet shuts and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So absolutely. It's four Spencer werewolf masks out all day. And then thank God there's other stuff when we all watched this movie because we just wanted more of it immediately. So yeah, excellent movie. And that's a good movie.
And props to the director for, doing a significant found footage film at a timely, making it timely.
Found footage does not have to be an hour and a half or longer. It really doesn't, man. Like, listen, when we cut this off, I got a list of found footage for you. I got like 5 or 6 to tell you. They're really, really good. But yeah, it's the runtime's great. So yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I was kind of worried about watching the series because I was like, okay, well, how are they gonna do that? But much like the Duplass brothers room, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's the one that takes place in the hotel with all the rooms and it's a different story in each room. I felt like they really pulled off every single episode. They really did because we watched all of the creep tapes. We haven't gotten to season 2 yet. I think it just dropped. And I was like, oh, this is so good. Like I'm in. I'm a fan.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I only watched the first episode, which I really enjoyed. I can't get enough of Duplass. He's just
find togetherness because that's mwah, chef's kiss. Love it. Absolutely love it.
So
I don't know what we're doing next week.
And the Creep franchise, definitely we all highly recommend. What are we doing next week? We are doing Color Out of Space. I talked to Slinky about it. I have not watched it yet.
Oh shit.
But
okay.
I've been wanting to do some cosmic horror for a long time. Cosmic horror created by H.P. Lovecraft, and so this is a perfect gateway into that world if you haven't already jumped.
And I watched it last week, so that's kind of cool. Have you watched it yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
I am excited. I've heard great things from you and from my peers in the horror community.
I have a couple gripes, but it's not. No. Watch it. Totally watch it and enjoy it. It's a great flick. So yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I
a lot of
like
fun.
that we're starting to branch out into a bit more modern films. Not that there's anything wrong with the 70s and 80s and 90s and
No,
all
no,
this,
no.
but
Well, over
that's when the best shit came out. I'll stand by that to the day I die. But
well, like over Christmas, I must have got 8 Lovecraft books over Christmas. So
awesome.
I'm white knuckle all into Cosmic Horror. And then listen, take your pen out. I'm gonna tell you like 5 found footage movies, and these are fucking bangers, man.
Yeah, so let the audience hear them too. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. Found footage. This is what you want to do. You want to go check out The Bay,
Okay.
which you watched that with me. It's very good. It's called The Bay. There's another one. It's called Final Prayer, aka The Borderlands,
All right.
the video game. Yeah, that's nonsense. But it's called Final Prayer, the Borderlands.
Okay.
The Endless, END less, The Endless. And
Okay.
then what's the
Sacrament.
Sacrament? That's found footage about cults.
I
That
did
one
see
we can't
that one.
recommend.
Yeah. I saw
Oh,
that
it's
one.
so
I loved
fucking
it.
good.
Because
And
I
what
was a
was the other
big
one? The
fan of the
Resistance.
Jim Jones thing. So
And then write this one down. The Resolution. Now watch The Endless and The Resolution back to back. Watch those two together.
right
They're
on.
they're in the same universe. They're both on Tubi. Everything we told you is on Tubi. Yeah.
I do
Except
want to do
Sacrament.
a little
Sacrament's not.
shout out to the episode
Yeah.
that Erin Dawn and I did on the Blair Witch Project. We had a special
Yes.
guest for that show. So if you're into found footage horror,
Mhm.
that's a good
Mhm.
episode in our back catalog from season 1. So everybody check that out. But yes, next week, Color Out of Space featuring the often imitated but never duplicated Nicolas Cage.
He's the worst. But yeah, no, that brilliant movie though. Great
Imitated by
movie.
himself, I should add.
Yes, yes, he's like a character of himself. It's funny. So yeah, so I had a good time doing this. I always have a good time. I may look like Mert, but I'm sitting here laughing and shit. Yeah. Well, it's all right. I always look like I have resting dick face. That's what I call it. But
You
like,
would not make a good victim.
no,
They
no,
kick you
no.
out before you could leave.
I used to say that to her. I'm like, man, Duplass would have thrown me out of his house. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny.
I always say that I'm no longer the demographic that serial killers like to kidnap. Like I'm
toughened you up a little bit.
I'm 40. Well, no, but
No,
I'm 45 and I have a little bit more situational awareness than I used to. And
Bichon.
yeah, no, that's true. Like that's literally all it would take at this point. It would be like, oh, we're having a puppy fest. You want to come?
That's how they're gonna get you, though. They're gonna
That's how I'm gonna get this.
reel
Like
you in
throat
with the
slit
Murphy.
done. Yeah.
All right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for another great episode. To all our listeners out there, we appreciate all of your views and your clicks and your likes and your subscriptions.
Thank you for the wonderful comment that was left. I don't know who left it. Who left it? Is that the
Oh, on our Phantom of the Paradise episode. Yes.
Yes. What a wonderful comment. I really touched my heart so much. So whoever you are, thank you so much. And please leave us more comments because it was very, very kind and we read everything. So
that we do. So much love and we'll see you next time.
Stay shitless. Hey.